Hello, legendary listeners, and welcome to the Legendary Ladies podcast. I'm your host, Amy. With me is Morgan and Kat. We are finally, all three back together again.
Yay.
It's been a hot second.
It has
been a sec.
Yeah.
But we are so excited. We've actually waited until we knew all three of us could do this because we want to talk about the Wicked for Good movie. So Wicked Part 2. The movie that Phil would have given 6 months of his life up to see.
Was it worth it?
Was it worth it? That's the question that I genuinely want to know. But before we get too far into our review, we're not only going to chat about the movie and our thoughts on the movie, but one of the things that I want to talk to you two about is, like, how come we're a month out from when the movie came out and no one's really talking about it anymore? Whereas if I recall when part 1 came out, the movie was still everywhere over the internet for the first for weeks and weeks and weeks. So we're going to talk about maybe the differences between part 1 and part 2 and how that contributes to a movie's success or perceived success. But before we get into that, friendly reminder that you can find us on Patreon. If you are a patron, you could be listening live to this podcast and sending us your thoughts. You can find us on patreon.com/The Legendary Ladies. You can find us on YouTube, The Legendary Ladies, Instagram at The Legendary Ladies. We are The Legendary Ladies, if you've not noticed, but we're excited to talk about The Legendary Ladies, Elphaba and Galinda. So let's dive into it.
Glinda?
Glinda. There was one point where someone called her Galinda, and I think it was Fierro, and I picked up on that he actually refuses to call her Glinda. He only calls her Galinda. Anyway, let's dive in. First off, I saw the movie very recently, within the last week, so I have a really good kind of like memory of it. When did you guys see this movie?
That's great. I think I saw it I'm sure Kat did as well, like pretty shortly after it came out.
I saw a day premiere because of Phil. He's just like, we didn't see the Amazon Prime version because it had a weird time. So like if we wanted a big group, which we had a big group of people, it was hard for after work for everyone to go. So we ended up seeing it on Thursday. They had Amazon Prime early screening on the Tuesday.
Where?
Oh,
like
at
in a movie
AMC.
theater?
You could have go see it at AMC. If you had Amazon Prime, you could have went to go see it early. We didn't end up doing that. We ended up seeing it on the Thursday. But we saw it pretty early. So Morgan, did you see it on the weekend or did you see it weekday?
I think I saw it on the weekend. I think we saw it, I want to say like Saturday or Sunday, like after it came out.
And this is a week before Thanksgiving, if I remember correctly. It was
so it's not been a month.
Well, wasn't it the week after Thanksgiving?
No, because
wasn't it the week of Thanksgiving? Now I'm gonna Google.
I think Zootopia 2 came out the week of Thanksgiving, and Wicked came out before. Yeah, you should.
I feel like it's been like 3 to 4 weeks since Wicked.
It came out on the 21st.
And then what? I think
only 3 weeks.
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving was late this year. Okay, so
it's been 3 weeks.
3 weeks, yeah.
Okay.
It feels like it's been
a long
months.
time has passed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Feels like we've lived a whole lifetime in those 3 weeks.
God, that's so true though. Every 3 weeks is a new lifetime.
It is.
Especially spending all my time watching Heated Rivalry.
Which we will be covering the whole season.
So good. Yeah, we're obsessed. Kat and I were talking. It's actually genuinely been a long time, really, genuinely, since I've picked up a show and been like, I need it. I think it's been probably since The Pit. Which was well over a year ago.
Yeah.
That I've been like, I need the next episode right the heck now. So,
and for us to all agree on a show too, because usually we'll watch a pilot pod and it's just like, all right, this is definitely not for Kat, or this is not for Morgan, or this is not for Amy. And this was one that me and Amy watched.
So
no, we both liked it. So
it's on my list now. I think it sounds fun.
Yeah,
you have to listen to your thoughts.
You can find our review on YouTube. and Instagram. We're very excited. I'm enjoying it so much. I keep telling people, have you seen Heated Rivalry? But I can never say it. And so it always comes out as Heated Revelry. And honestly, that works well. But getting back to Wicked, before we hop into our reviews of the movie, just to remind the audience, what is your guys's experience with the musical, the book, the lore, the history?
Morgan, well, for me, first. Oh yeah, you go on, Morgan. No, you go first, Morgan.
Oh, okay. Mine's easy. I went to see Wicked in 2018 on Broadway. I really enjoyed it.
No one saw it in the early days, it sounds like.
I never saw it.
That's the only time I ever saw it was when it came to the Pantages Theater in 2003 or 2004.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
That's the only time I ever saw it live. And this is the problem. I didn't remember. I've listened to the soundtrack, but I didn't remember most of the plot for part 2. I didn't know how.
Honestly, I was a little sketchy on the plot for part 2 as well.
It's okay. I think that's how it goes in the musical as well.
Yeah.
I saw it a year before the new movie because we were planning on doing a Wizard of Oz themed comic book. And we're like, Wicked's coming out. It would be cool to do a Glinda and Wicked Witch comic. Did very well. So we're like, now especially Phil, he read a lot of the Wicked books. He read the Wizard of Oz books. So I know a lot about those because of him and because of the books we were doing. So yeah, I've been consumed by the Wizard of Oz because of our writing, but mostly because of Phil, because he's a huge fan of Wicked and the Wizard of Oz. So and Phil's my writing partner, my business partner. And yeah, so I saw it relatively recently enough to remember what was going to happen in this film.
You know the lore. Yeah, like you're not.
Yeah, you know all the history behind it.
The twists and turns are not like that surprising to you.
No, and that's why, like, I don't know if I had it. I wasn't excited, but I wasn't not excited. Like, I was excited for the fact that they were going to continue the tone of, not the tone, but the look and the great music from the first movie. But yeah, story wise, I knew what we were getting. So I was like, yeah, I don't think they're going to change about that much. I remember Phil was the reason he was excited. He was curious how much they were going to change. And I was like, I don't know. I just feel like they're going to follow the script. And that's what they did. They pretty much follow the script of the play, and they just extend scenes, which they did in the first movie too. It's obviously longer than the play because they get to extend moments, but the mythos doesn't really change. And I think what's hard to have with a movie is that it happens a year later, and then also it's much longer. So in a play, it's only 30, 40 minutes and you just had the great highs of part 1. But in a movie, it's 2 hours and you're like, well, I haven't seen part 1 in a year, let's say. Or maybe you just had seen it a week ago, but that's not like back to back. You're just on the high of part 1.
Yeah.
So I think that's what makes this movie a little difficult. But then also this is a really interesting movie where people don't know what to say about it, because I don't think people hated it, but I also don't think people loved it. So it's just like it's in this mixture.
It's an Act 2 problem. And so this was my roommate and I, she's a stage manager, and we were talking about this from a theater perspective. And I remember she asked me, what did you think about it? And I, at that point, had not seen it. And I said, well, I haven't seen it yet, but I hear a lot of people are hit or miss about it. And she said, who did you hear say that? Were they theater people? And I was like, no, not really. And so we kind of got into this conversation about the Act 2 problem, that in a musical, you have that buzz of Act 1. Act 1 sets everything up. Act 2 almost always finds a way to keep the story rolling, but it doesn't necessarily amp things up. I would argue something like Into the Woods is different. Act 2 of Into the Woods feels like it just keeps ramping things up and has a lot more memorable songs. Yeah. Something about Act 2 of Wicked. I mean, I've listened to the musical a lot, the OG cast, but I could only name 2 songs from Act 2.
Which is why they had to add music to this one, too.
And you know, I think the challenge with just in general is that it's just the second half of the book before you reach the climax. It's the end of Act 2 of a movie before you get to Act 3. An Act 2 doesn't mean, like, one act, 2 act system in a musical doesn't mean you split up all of the drama and be like, all right, we're going to have an equal amount of drama, an equal amount of amazing songs in Act 1 and Act 2. It's just the way that the story falls. It's the way that, okay, that's a great closer. This is a great way to finish it. So Wicked picks up and has to cover a lot of ground in Act 2, but can't really have the flair and the songs like Popular and Loathing that they can have in the first act, because frankly, you don't got time for that.
There's a lot of reprises too. There's a lot of reprises.
There are. There are.
But it is interesting because to me, it just felt like Act 2. It just felt like Act 2 of a play. All right, you went to the bathroom. Maybe you got a Snickers bar, grabbed something to drink. You came back in, you sat down, you're ready to go again. But I think when you have to wait a whole year for it to come out and you're hyping yourself up for it, it's really hard to get that same level, like that same adrenaline rush stepping back into Act 2 of a play when it has to sell itself as an entire movie. It's just not gonna have the same momentum.
Yeah.
And that was something that surprised me on this as well, and I've said this on the first movie. Some of the changes they made, I don't like the momentum shifts. I like the way that in the musical, the way that Defying Gravity plays out and the consistency with it. I didn't like how much they broke it up in the first movie. There were a lot of bits in this that felt really choppy, and I've seen people talk about that some of the scene changes just were so snappy that they didn't make sense. Like after No Good Deed, which, by the way, I was looking forward to immensely, and we'll talk about in a second. But after No Good Deed, that random long pause, and then you're in the wizard's room, and it just completely slows it down. It just ruined the momentum. All they had to do was keep the underscoring music going. All they had to do was move something, and it just broke it for me. And that happened so often. I don't like that because it loses the momentum of the rush to the end. Got to catch the train. Got to get going. That you get of a Broadway or theater musical. Did you guys feel that? Was I the only one?
I don't know if I felt this so exactly as you did, but I could see that now that you mentioned it. Honestly, the thing I think of when you mentioned the Wizard's Lair is more of like, oh, they did a good job at adding Linda a little bit more in this. I think the thing I get more frustrated with is more on a plot standpoint of this act is that this whole play is a lot about their friendship. And I feel like Act 2 really messes with it a lot, and you don't notice it as much in the play because again it's a lot shorter, but because a lot of the movie they're not together, we get to see the Wicked Witch steal Glinda's guy, but then also the guy didn't really like her. It's just like almost feels like unnecessary plot points. I understand that happened 20 years ago when this play came out, but
yeah,
it just doesn't work here. And, obviously a lot of people feel that way. I've never heard anyone say I loved when they got together, I think people know it's about their friendship. So it's weird to see their friendship become so broken.
Yeah, I think part of the issue is, and I heard a lot of people say this after like part 1, which is like, ooh, what are they going to do with part 2? And I think it's just that like, even the stage show part 2 is like, not the stronger part of the musical, like you could watch part 1 of the musical and be like, that's amazing. I think if you just took part 2 out, people would be like, oh, okay. Right. So I think it was already kind of an uphill battle with like what they had to work with from the second part of the musical. But I think because in the musical, you're seeing it all together as one story and it's sort of shorter. So, like, I think in the musical, it's like, maybe 40 minutes, 45 minutes or something like that is part 2. So having to pad it out, I think is a little tough. That's why but I don't think it like explains the choppiness because it is in a lot of ways padded. Like they added 2 songs to this movie that I felt like, we'll talk about that, but I don't feel like they added anything really.
I don't either. I think they were trying to get you as the audience to connect with the struggle that Elphaba is going for. But I remember at one point, it was towards the end of the movie, I kept thinking, are they going to actually solve anything? What are they going to do? Like, what are they going to do for good? Are they really going to fix anything? Like, it didn't seem to me like they were actually that sure, Elphaba had a quote mission, but towards the end it never felt like she cared whether or not she accomplished it.
And also
really
her mission
bothered me.
And her mission is, I think, one of the weaker parts of part one, which is this animal subplot that for me never really worked. And I understand obviously what she's going for. Like I think it's an interesting and noble fight, but it just like feels shoehorned into this Wizard of Oz story, which
it
becomes
well
more
for
apparent
me in part one.
It worked really well for me in part one. I do feel like in part two, it kind of feels like some of her interpersonal issues have gotten in the way. And it's like, I thought what happened about the animal rights? Like, what about the people who are being oppressed? Do you care anymore? It seems like you're just like, I feel like from when, spoiler alert, from when like her sister dies on, like she never talks about the animal rights anymore, like until the end of the movie.
Well, it starts when she and Fiyero get together.
Yeah.
Once she and Fiyero get together,
that's true.
Her mission goal, she's like, nah, I'm good. I was like, girl, are you not supposed to just
Solved.
be there and be yeah? And isn't it just it lacked and again, that's a momentum thing for me. Like it didn't lack the drive and the goal and what did she accomplish? Because if you think about it, at the end, it's not her who accomplishes anything. It's Glinda.
Yeah, because she as a character becomes more rounded, which is interesting because Elphaba, I think, started as a really strong character, but became muddled. Glinda's a very like blank canvas because she's superficial. So to see her in the end be like, no, I do care about people. I do want to do better. And now I have powers. It does bring her a full journey. So I think Glinda, weirdly enough, is the stronger character, but Elphaba should be the stronger character because she is the lead. So it's strange.
Yeah, I think this is a better movie for Glinda than it is for Elphaba, which is very strange because my memories, vague as they are, of the stage show is that that's not the case necessarily in the stage show. I feel like if anything in the stage show, there's not as much Glinda in the second part as there is in the first part. So like I feel like they really beefed up her role here and gave her a little bit more compelling of a character arc in some ways.
Well, in the layers, they added her there because in the play she wasn't there, like with the whole wizard stuff. That's like
the wonderful.
She wasn't in the play version.
That's interesting.
Bill told me that. I did not remember that, but he told me that.
I think one of the things though that I recognized that threw some of this off for me is that the stakes didn't feel high. The first movie, you start to see animals losing the ability to speak. You start to see Madame Morrible hunting her. She's going to hurt Glinda if she doesn't come down. Like, there felt like there were real good stakes. The second movie, and I know this is going to sound really strange, I actually wanted to see a little bit more violence or a little bit more of a harsh world.
Action, maybe.
Yes, even when they capture Fiyero. And I was thinking about this. I don't you guys have seen this. When you watch someone on stage get gut punched or fight choreography, there's really good fight choreography where you buy it and there's not great fight choreography. This Red is not great fight choreography.
Which is interesting for a movie, right?
Yes, it was lacking those moments where like a really good fight sequence, and I say this as someone who was lucky enough to watch one when I just did Macbeth. I really enjoyed their fight sequence because there was a point on the stage where they had been fighting and they wrote it into both of their characters that both of their characters were so physically exhausted from fighting each other that each one tried to get up and stumble. And there weren't enough stumbles. There weren't enough moments of that, like, the fact that like Fiyero was quite literally going to be killed. They were going to kill this man, and I, as the audience, only knew that happens because I know No Good Deed. Like, I know the song and I know the story she tells in the song. But it makes it sound like they're like, all right, let's just grab this guy. We're going to go hang him up on and he's going to tell us the truth. And I'm like, you need to show them kicking the shit out of this guy.
Yeah, I agree. I also was unclear about the amount of danger that Fiyero was in. And the only reason I knew was because I've seen the stage show where it's like she thinks that he's dead. But like without that, I would have been like, oh, he's getting beat up. Like I wouldn't think that his like life was in immediate danger.
And because it felt like there wasn't immediate danger, when she gets the letter from him that's supposed to look like just part of his sleeve, I didn't buy it. Glinda buys it, but it was so obvious to me that it was the letter detailing the plan of what they were going to do, even though it was supposed, we as the audience were supposed to think, oh shoot, Fiyero's dead. Like, we're supposed to feel that, and I didn't get any of that. Even the Madame Morrible stuff from Act 1, from the first movie, or even just the thing with all the monkeys with the wings sprouting out of them from the first movie where they were like clearly in pain and screaming. We didn't have that. And so the lack of danger and the lack of stakes made it difficult for me to connect with wanting anyone to win, because I'm like, yeah, but is it really that bad? Logically, I know that's bad. But illogically, I wanted to feel more heart-racing moments, and I didn't get it.
Yeah, and I think that's what's interesting for it to be adapted as a movie. I think that's what I was expecting more, was like more action, because that's what you can add, and I was surprised that they really didn't do that here. The things that I think are interesting also as a movie, something we could talk about is the nominations that it got. It just got a Golden Globe nomination, and this is the first time like a sequel has gotten a nomination.
Oh, really?
Way, or at least for Cynthia Erivo's category. So to have like the same character be in the same category, I think so closely, and I think in general. So I think that's something that's very interesting, is that even though the second one's a little weaker, I think it's still highbrow enough to get a nomination for a second movie. And probably the Academy Awards too. We don't know that until January. Another thing that's going to be interesting is, what are they going to do after this? Because they said a quote was like, well, of course we're going to do more. It's our obligation. We just don't know what yet. What? And obviously, they want to do more Wicked. So, but they don't know if they're going to do this story. Like, they don't know if they're going to do Glinda and Elphaba, or if they're going to do other characters.
And they're going to do their own original music. Because I have to say, based on the 2 songs in this movie, I don't know, you guys. Even though it's his original people back.
Yeah, well, it was his work. The original writer wrote him. Yes, he did it.
Oh, interesting.
But,
okay,
yeah,
but they weren't bad, but they honestly made no impression on me whatsoever.
Correct. I actually haven't seen Girl with the Bubble, because I was told by the internet that was an acceptable bathroom break. So I ran to the bathroom. Because the internet tells you, like, when you go to a bathroom in a 2.5 hour long movie. And
somebody told me, maybe Kat, it was you, about this app called Run P.
Yes, I did.
That was
tell
me.
You about it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
We all know about it.
And yes, I was going to say, I knew it was a really long movie, so I started the Run P, and I did notice that it had that as a bathroom break. It said the Girl in the Bubble was a good bathroom break.
That's so strange.
Like, as one of your original songs, like, that's not a good sign.
I mean, story-wise, it does not accomplish anything, so I can understand why.
She's just hanging out singing. So yeah, you can definitely go to the bathroom in that. But like, you would think that like an original song for such an iconic show as Wicked, you'd be really excited. You'd want to make that like a really big deal, like a really big song. And instead they were just like, we got to pad this thing out.
And I think they were trying to, give Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo an opportunity to tell a story. I think Cynthia's added song was to help plot.
Yes,
to raise stakes that did not assist. Ariana's was to give her a chance to shine, because she doesn't have a solo song in that movie.
And it is her interpersonal journey.
She does the beginning.
Bubble.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's a good story. But who blew me out of the water, and I wish we had been able to hear more from, was Jonathan Bailey. He gets a couple phrases in As Long as You're Mine, and when he started singing, I was like, oh, this is it. This is what I'm here for. And that, honestly, that was the first time in the whole movie that I went,
and
that's unfortunate.
And I feel bad for the people that, because I had a friend who was going into it and she never saw the play. So I was just like, oh, good luck, right? Because like I feel bad for the people that don't know the story. Like maybe people love Jonathan Bailey in the first movie. They're like, oh, there was that, great song in that first movie, and they're expecting that in the second movie, and you're obviously not going to get it because the whole scarecrow stuff. So yeah, I feel bad for the people who went in blind, because I think that's probably the most disappointing thing. For sure.
How did they feel when they got out of the movie?
They did. It was so funny because I was on the phone with them and also Phil. So she was trying to tiptoe just in case Phil's like, "What do you mean you hated it?" And she was just like, "Oh wait, I'm allowed to have this opinion." And she didn't hate it, but she was like, "It wasn't what I expected."
Yeah. It's Act 2. It's just you cannot walk into a musical in Act 2, even having read the Wikipedia synopsis, and be ready for it. You just can't. I think we would probably all enjoy this movie if we could watch it back to back with part 1. Like if there was a sing along, you walk back to back, I think I would enjoy it more.
I think it's the length still, though. I think it's a really long movie for a story that really should only be 40 minutes.
Now
I meant back to back though. Like if I had to watch 5 hours of it, that's gonna be a lot. It's not bad for just watching it the one time. So I don't think I ever would watch it back to back. And I still think there's parts in the story that aren't strong to be like, wow, that really makes it.
I think the thing that shocked me the most as being the strongest was Bach's story, which is hilarious because I never in the history of the planet of ever thought that I would say Bach was, for me, one of the strongest parts of the show.
But he's not in it that much.
No, but with the Tin Man, when he was though, Tin Man blew me out of the water.
So like the small his rage.
Yes, and that was the thing, is that even though it's small, his rage and his frustration and his like straight up, I'm gonna kill the witch. First off, Ethan Slater's vocals were amazing. He only gets that small section to sing in The Witch Hunters. Yeah. It's literally like 2 verses, but oh my God. But also, I liked his little story about being trapped with Nessa and Nessa forcing him to do all that. We could have done without all of Nessa's shit.
I know,
but
Nessa.
For the most part, I thought his contribution was the most honest part of the whole show. I thought that the Tin Man made the most sense as someone who actually perceives Elphaba as wicked despite the fact that she was trying to do good.
I think
I agree.
I think the most shoehorned part is Dorothy's side, because I love the memes now even more, where it's like, what is Dorothy like? Why would Dorothy kill Elphaba if she heard all this yearning and it's like, and also like, yeah, she's just kind of trapped for like almost 15 minutes in that little.
I've seen so many memes of like, what was Dorothy doing down there in the storm cellar while they were having this like really dramatic moment.
Right.
She's just like crying.
She's like, guys, I love this beautiful moment you're having. I'm still down here.
I think that's almost the worst part about this Act 2 is that they have to connect it to Wizard of Oz. Yeah. And it's just like, did you have to? I don't need to see the. And I know you're just saying the Tin Man was a better part, but like, did I have to see Scarecrow? Do I have to see the Cowardly Lion?
Well, Cowardly Lion doesn't make any sense to me.
The Cowardly Lion part, I was going to come in earlier with that when you were talking about Bach and like the Tin Man. And like, yes, that made sense to me. I really like that story as well. The Cowardly Lion, however, made no sense to me as a storyline. And they were just like, yeah, sure, this makes sense. And they're like, no.
He would have preferred to be in the cage. What are
you talking about? Like, also, he was like a baby. Like,
yeah.
It was very strange. I didn't feel like that was
in the book. I'm gonna Google that while you guys talk. No, I'm gonna find out what his story is in the book.
Well, the books are like 30 books long. That's the issue too. Like, it's not just one book. There's a lot of Wicked books.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, it's like a whole set of Wicked books. Let me see how many there are.
I hear that like things are crazy in those books. That like
there's 4 main books.
Okay.
And then related books. There's another 3, so there's 7.
Oh my God, that's a lot of books. I hear that like they get really dark and like really, so like when people like this stage show and they start to like go look for the books, a lot of people are like, maybe don't do that. Like, I don't think you're prepared for what's going to happen in those books.
Okay.
It's supposed to be very sexualized. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've heard too.
Well, apparently someone was reading it and they made a comment about how they wished that they knew that the Wicked book had so much Bach in it because then they wouldn't have read it. But I just let AI tell me, Google AI is telling me that that the big reason for the cowardice in the book and the musical is the idea that after she rescues him, she just impulsively leaves him in the wild. And doesn't give him a sense of belonging. So she literally just leaves him. Now, that would make sense if they made that more clear in the first movie.
Yeah, that was not very clear in the first movie.
That was not clear at all. And all they would have to do is like just have where she and Fiyero are leaving him and just have him like looking all scared in the forest and like terrified because he hears sounds. All they needed was 30 seconds of the cowardly lion just looking, the cub looking absolutely terrified that they're leaving him, and her being like, it's okay, you can learn to fend for yourself now. That's all I needed to make that make sense.
Yeah, it needed a little bit more setup in the first movie, I think, if that's the way that they were going to go, because that was one of the big parts of watching the movie, that and like the Fiyero scene we talked about, where I was like, huh? Like what's going on with that?
So we've talked, I think all three of us agreed that it's a good movie. We enjoyed it, but it wasn't quite what we were hoping for, but we also kind of knew that was going to happen because we knew Wicked Part 2. What stood out to you? What was the thing that really rocked your socks? Because I have bones to pick with a lot of stuff, but I have one thing that nailed it for me.
I think
honestly it's only one.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I think it's a continuation of the look and in the vibes of the first movie playing off here, right? Because that's what we loved about that first movie. It was the look, it's the actors, it's just like everything magically kind of coming together. And I still felt that. Like I even with the plots not being great, Cynthia was still great. Ariana was still great. Like the actors still played a role. The visuals looked really good, which is why it's hard to say this is a bad movie, but it's also hard to say it's a great movie. It's a very in-between movie for me.
Yeah, I think it just doesn't have the bangers that the first one does. Like when we were talking about the first one, I remember we were ranking our favorite songs and we were having a hard time ranking them. If you asked me to rank my favorite songs from this one, I would struggle to remember anything besides like No Good Deed, like it's
and For Good, I would say.
and For Good. Like both of that, like besides those though, like sure in the moment while I'm watching them, I'm enjoying them, but when I leave the theater, do I remember them? Am I humming them like I'm humming Popular or like Dancing Through Life? No, not really.
I haven't re-listened to any songs, but I remember the first Wicked, I re-listened to a lot of them.
Yeah.
Like, let me listen to Popular, let me listen to this, whatever.
Yeah.
It's missing that viral factor too. Kat and I talked about this last week just on our own, that the Popular and Loathing, the Loathing choreography was making the Instagram rounds. Yeah, and remember how popular all that was?
The choreography.
And that was all over the internet for 3 weeks, and I think that was because people were so floored by the movie that it was the Hamilton effect. But you know what's also the Hamilton effect? Act 2 of Hamilton. It's just the way it goes. It's the way Act 2 goes. And that's not.
I don't know what songs are in Act 2 of Hamilton. Hamilton's a little easier, because they didn't make a 2-part movie. But also I feel like it is something that just kind of like seamlessly goes through. You kind of know how it's going to end.
Well, and it progresses through a period of time in life, and exactly. Once the Revolutionary War ends, all right, we're on to building a government. How entertaining is that?
I don't know what songs are in Act 2 though for Hamilton. I genuinely don't remember.
Hurricane is one of the ones that always gets me.
I love that one.
Yeah, Hurricane is, and it's Quiet Uptown.
Those Quiet Uptown.
So those are two great ones.
Yeah.
But everything else. So Morgan, was there? I have my two. I've now decided there were 2 moments that. That got me. Was there something good that got you?
Ooh.
2 birthday moments.
I liked when all the balloons came up in this.
Yeah, those of you who are watching on our YouTube, you should know that, like, if you're listening, my video often just does like random emojis and happy stuff. Like right now, I just made it do
fireworks.
So yeah, if you ever choose heroes randomly start giggling,
ours never does it. So that's
Cats
cool.
should.
Cats,
I could turn it on, but
you turned it off. That's why it never does it. That's so
Morgan, what were the things that made you?
You know, it's sort of a cop out answer, but I think it's the actors. I think like Ariana Grande, Cynthia Erivo, Jonathan Bailey, like honestly the whole cast is really strong, but those three especially are really good.
Yeah.
And that chemistry from them really carries over from the first movie, and the relationship between Glinda and Elphaba, even when, you know, things got a little bit like crazy in this movie, even when they're not together all the time, I do feel like that through line of that relationship really kept me involved in the story. And the awkward Dorothy aspect of it aside, you know, I like it when they're like in scenes together, when they have that final song together and it's like so sad and they're like on the opposite sides of the door and everything like that. That, like, I was like, okay, this is how I'm emotionally involved in this movie. There was just like a lot of other stuff that they, you know, padded around it, but like those relationships between those characters, I think that they still did a good job, and the actors especially did a good job of like making you care and keeping you involved.
I agree. I think that the acting was really well done. I've been seeing a lot of comments about how Jonathan Bailey just can have chemistry with literally a brown paper bag, but it's the way he holds his chin. It's the way he always looks like he's got a secret. That's the trick to good chemistry, I think, is that you should always at some point have some sort of secret. Whether it's a secret that you're going to make someone laugh, or your secret that you're in love with someone, or your secret that you're in love with someone else. I feel like you should always act, look, or think as if you have a secret to share at any given moment. And that's how, in my brain as an actress, that's how I play chemistry. Anyway, really enjoy their performances. The two things that got me, the first is, unfortunately, For Good did not hit for me. It might have been that the music, that I've seen enough of it that it's overstimulating. I have performed that song before many times in choirs. Like maybe it's just too much for me. I also just didn't feel like it didn't have the emotion of Defying Gravity or of the ballroom scene. However, when No Good Deeds started, I had at this point, I was like, okay, as long as your mind didn't hit the way I wanted it to hit so far, this is just kind of a long movie. I was like, No Good Deed has to hit because it's my favorite song. And I think it did. There are still things I wish they had done differently, but that's an adaptation choice, and that I'm not going to, you know, get frustrated with. I love Cynthia Erivo's vocals on No Good Deed.
Oh my God, so good.
And I did get in my car and immediately start singing it. And this is the thing with No Good Deed. It doesn't matter where I am, what I'm doing. If you play that song, I will start singing along. Absolutely, without fail. And if I'm in my car alone or with people who don't care, I will sing loud. I will belt that shit. The other thing, the only time I felt, God, I can't believe I'm actually saying this, given how much the first one made this happen. The only time I felt genuine, heart-clenching, gut-wrenching emotion in this movie was the door scene, where you saw both of them on each side of the door. Very and then frozen. Ariana's acting after that, where she realizes that she's lost this person. That got me. It was the only thing that got me, whereas I was a snotty mess after the first one. But that scene, that bit with the door, was one of the strongest bits of acting, choreography, cinematography. Wow, thank you. Of cinnamoning, cinnamon and challenge. Directing. Yeah, cinnamon challenge. Blah 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 blah. But I really liked that bit immensely. But
their chemistry is great. I think that's what really helps this movie is that they are great. So you know.
But
I think it was other actors
them together.
Harder. No, and that's obviously a big part of what makes this movie not work. And why I'm curious to see, if they do something else, you have to have the two of them, or else I don't care. You know?
Yeah, that is very true. Unfortunately, yeah, I'm really invested in the two of those characters, and in honestly the two of those actresses, because they are so good together. So I wouldn't want to see a Wicked thing that doesn't involve them in any way.
I don't know. I could see a Wicked Scarecrow Firo only movie. I'm okay with that.
Listen, would I go? Yes.
If the Scarecrow wants to put on some slutty little glasses, I'm here for it.
We'll see.
Yeah, I know we're going back to heated rivalry for a second, but there's a character in episode 3 that puts on like a dead ringer for Jonathan Bailey's slutty little glasses from the Jurassic Park movie, and I'm like, if they didn't do that intentionally as a nod to now the official highest grossing openly gay male actor ever.
Well,
so for a year, like in a year, this is the highest grossing like openly gay actor that has made X amount of money in a year is Jonathan Bailey right now.
I don't know if you saw the clip going. Maybe Morgan has seen this clip. The clip going around with him and Henry Cavill's Variety interview. Have you guys seen it?
I haven't watched it. I saw it.
Henry Cavill, the other one,
the other Superman one. Yes,
the other Superman, not Henry Cavill.
People are like the best. Oh, David,
Sweat something.
God, but where people are talking about how the best thing on the planet is straight male theater nerd, gay male theater nerd, meet, have good time.
Well, no, what was interesting about this clip, though, was he was talking about his favorite scene with Jonathan Bailey being this moment where Cynthia Erivo is able to, but the way he said it is like, how did you do it? Like, how did you make it look masculine? And it's like when this woman is doing this with you, and he's like, well, no, I mean, Cynthia, like, what do you mean? And like, but he did it in such a way, which is so, he never like shamed David for saying that. He was like, said it in such a way where he like steered the ship to correct him and be like, what, like, those are not the words you should be using. Let's say this instead.
No, he's so good about it. And those are the kind of conversations that I love to watch.
Yeah.
Those are good conversations.
Do you watch those, Amy? The actors on actors where they like interview each other?
Yes, yeah. I haven't seen the a lot of full ones, but I've seen a lot of clips because like it comes up. My Instagram knows I like it. But that's how you know you've got a good person to talk to, because we've done that before on the podcast where the three of us will be like, okay, wait a second, let's try this and this. I have friends who are writers and we talk about that kind of stuff. I think it's important to have those conversations, to have people call you out on things, but politely. And
he did it in a really good way. I really liked how he did it, where he's like, no, this is my view. And I don't think Superman actor meant it in a bad way. I think he genuinely was just like, how, that was interesting how you did that. But it was just like, definitely not the correct words of how did you say it. But it's just really interesting, like his facial expressions, Jonathan Bailey, and like how he's didn't, again, shame him in any way. You should. I'm surprised you guys haven't seen it.
Jonathan Bailey's like, I need to get you out of this, bro. How do I do it?
Pretty much, though. It was really, and then again, his reaction to it was very interesting too. He's like, okay. Because he's pointing the conversation like almost to tell until then. He's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. It's a good sign, though, when you see someone like that who understands that they are going to have to steer conversations, but could make a big deal out of it. But it makes me respect him even more that he clearly is respecting his partner in that moment and wants to help that person succeed. Like those are the kind of professionals you want to work with.
And that's why I mentioned it, was because not to be like, oh my God, the Superman actor did this. I was like, I just thought it was very interesting how Jonathan Bailey reacted to that. I think he did a really good job, and I think used the correct words to explain what made that scene powerful. So.
I feel like we're going to see a lot of Jonathan Bailey in a lot of things. I feel like he's really starting to like pop off now.
He's the new Brad Pitt and George Clooney. Let's be honest.
We love him. I'm hoping that he's in many movies.
So many movies.
I think it depends on how he does a dramatic role, because I don't know if I'd go to George Clooney level until he does something really, really serious. And then if he like nails that, like honestly, and this is weird to say, like Adam Sandler is that guy. Like I don't love his comedic thing, but his dramatic acting is really good. I do like his dramatic acting a lot.
But you didn't watch Fellow Travelers and you didn't watch Bridgerton season 2. Now, those are not deeply dramatic things.
True.
I mean,
but
Fellow
those
Travelers
are non-comedic based. What?
Fellow
Travelers was pretty
dramatic. Yeah.
But at the same time, it also
movie,
wasn't like
too. Like you have to have like Oscar Academy Award movie to be the leading man, George Clooney. I think he's already being Brad Pitt in my brain, but like he kind of has that.
he's gonna find his like Oscar bait movie. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if
he needs to find his Leonardo DiCaprio movie. Oh my god, could you imagine the two of them together? I don't know. I actually don't know physically if I can imagine the two of them doing a movie together. But because I can't see it, I want it to happen.
Let's make it happen. Leo, what are you up to? Titanic 2?
Leo and Juan, just reach out to me. Let's make something happen.
Don't worry, we got you. But yeah, I'll be interesting. I'll also be interested to see where Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande, like where they go to next, especially Ariana, because I feel like people keep asking her about music, and she kind of keeps being like, I don't wanna.
And I kind of agree. I like her as
I think she's a great
more than
actress.
Yeah, I hope she kind of goes the Rachel Zellweger route and they start doing actual like theater Broadway stuff, because I think they clearly have the stamina and the pipes for it.
I think they need to do a day. I think it'd be crazy, and money wise for Broadway, which Broadway kind of needs it right now, if Cynthia and Ariana did like a 2-month stint as but they would make the money. They need the money right now. People would pay for it.
I would pay.
But it already sells.
I know, but imagine the prices that we get if they did it for like 2 months. You know,
imagine the price.
Imagine.
I mean, honestly,
we're pitching all kinds of stuff to all these actors.
Good Night, Good Luck was $250 with George Clooney.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a ticket. But then also, if you look at like concert tickets now, it's almost that's
like
true.
When Peter Pan Goes Wrong came to Los Angeles with Neil Patrick Harris, the cheapest tickets was $150. And then I got COVID and couldn't go, and it was the saddest thing on the planet. I was so upset.
That sucks.
Okay, so I think we're going to wrap things up because we actually are going to be recording another episode here very shortly. Let's go around the table. Where can everybody be found on the interwebs?
For me, at Comic Uno, I always have Kickstarters going on, so go check it out. If you like queer storytelling in particular, go check out our Kickstarters. We have a Slice of Life live right now. It's about an anime character comes to life, falls in love with a high school cheerleader. So that one's live for December.
Nice. How about you, Morgan?
You always have Kickstarters going. There's always a new one.
Always a new one.
Always in the process of launching one. You can check me out as a co-host on Supergirl Radio, where I think the plan is to do an emergency podcast episode about the trailer that just as we are recording the trailer that dropped today. I think we'll be doing one on Friday. So by the time you're listening to this, it's probably already up. But if you have also watched the Supergirl trailer for the new movie, it's a great time to check out Supergirl Radio.
And I am, I'm glitching again. You guys can find me on Instagram, Amy_HYP. I am not doing any theatrical productions right now, but I am always looking. So if you are in the Southern California, San Diego, Orange County, even LA area, looking for a theater actress nerd, please reach out to me and send me your stuff, because I would love to read it, act it, even maybe direct it. I'm even like I think I really might like directing.
I can see that
stage
for you.
I can see that. Yeah.
You guys are like, right though?
Right,
like, can't you just see me being like, I've got the vision, let's make it happen.
You do have a lot of vision, so I think in a good way. Like, you know what you want. So honestly, you do. You're like, I like it like this. You do. Anything you see, you're just like, I want to like this. Wouldn't you picture this? Like
imagine it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do have a lot of imagine it. I would be absolutely all right. Guys. Like, I'd be the person talking to the tech team, and I'd be like, imagine doors from the ceiling. And they'd be like, our budget's $30 and a can of Coke. And I'd be like, so doors just in general. Great. Love it.
Imagine a horse, a real horse.
On the stage.
We did that at Sleepy Hollow, but not with real horses.
Oh.
We did use horses. We did have a horse. It was actually really cute. It was two of our young dancers. They had like the motion of the horse clapping with their hooves, and they literally even timed it. It was actually really cute. Anyway, that's going to wrap us up on our Wicked for Good coverage. Please let us know your thoughts. Email us, thelegendaryladies@gmail.com. Find us on Instagram, The Legendary Ladies. And remember, subscribe to that Patreon, patreon.com/thelegendaryladies. We thank you all so much for joining us. Have a wonderful weekend and stay legendary.